All right, peace and blessings, everybody. It's June the 18th, Monday, the year 2018. This is a video of David Hinkson sent me a letter through the U.S. mail, and it appears to be a letter where his parents write to Donald Trump requesting for a pardon for their son. I think we have a letter from the mother and the father, and then we also have the response back from the Trump administration. So this letter has been scanned and uploaded to yearofjubilee.com. You can go to David Hinkson's page. I refer to David Hinkson as the most provably innocent political prisoner in all of America. The reason I say that is all you have to do to prove David Hinkson is innocent is to prove that Elvin Joe Swisher is a liar. And that's one of the easiest things to do ever. So not only is David Hinkson innocent, but I believe he is the Nikola Tesla of our day, and that humanity is being robbed of his energy motors as well as his medicinal copper water and other things that could benefit humanity in huge ways. And I believe because he had such great inventions, they had to silence him. But let's get to the letter, and if you want to read it, you can go download it from Year of Jubilee. If you want to stick around, I'm going to read it right now. This is from David Hinkson, 15 years in a Kentucky prison. Did you guys know that when he first got convicted, they sent him for, I think, 6 years to ADX Supermax in Florida. It's one of the worst prisons in all of America. Okay, this is from his mother to President Donald J. Trump, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, Washington, D.C. Dear President Trump, after listening to you address the nation, I feel pride. Does this have a date? I don't see a date. I feel pride in America again. A feeling before you came along I have not felt for a long time. So I would like to take this opportunity to reach out to you and ask for your help in undoing a terrible wrong done to my son David. About 15 years ago, the FBI, IRS, and Justice Department decided it was time to silence my son David R. Hinkson for his audacity to challenge the government and, yes, to even sue some of the government officials. This brought a consolidated effort to bring him down, and indeed they did. They resorted to the most common charge of choice, to solicit the murder of the federal officials that he was suing. Yes, only suing. Thinking he had the right to do so under the Constitution, it wasn't very smart of him to do this, but he has a condition called Asperger's syndrome. I just got to interject some commentary here, and I try to not to interject commentary if I just don't have to, but David does not think he has Asperger's syndrome. I don't think he does either, but nonetheless, his parents have the right to have any opinion they want to, and David did send me this letter, and he knows that I put things out on the internet, so that's what we're doing. If you want to write David and engage him in a conversation about whether he has Asperger's syndrome, you can write him a letter. What's that, babe? On this letter, it's spelled A-U-S-P-U-R-G-E-R-S. I don't know. I don't know the proper spelling, but that's how it's spelled here. This is a form of autism where David is brilliant in scientific ways, but lacks the human skills to interact with others. If only he had known what our government was capable of doing to whistleblowers or dissenters, but he lives in his own world and had devoted his life to helping the sick and perfecting his minerals. David had developed a way of making liquid minerals and was manufacturing them in Idaho at the time. The Justice Department put him in prison after a trial where the judge, Richard C. Talman, became a knowing participant in the violation of David's constitutional rights. This judge made sure David did not receive a fair trial. He lied during the trial. He truly was a black-robed prosecutor. And a careful look at the transcripts would show this. However, this judge ruled to suppress much of our evidence without letting the jury even hear it. This judge made law as he decided it was, ignoring the Constitution. This judge was and is on the Ninth Circuit Court and had to step down just to try David. David was charged with 11 counts of conspiracy to commit murder. He was found not guilty on all but 3 counts. The only witness against him was Elvin Joe Swisher, who had told David that he wanted half of his business, or he would testify that David had asked him to murder. Judge Talman, knowing full well that David was not guilty and knowing that the testimony of Elvin Joe Swisher was perjured, Later, he was convicted of perjury for these same lies, and knowing that David was not even in the country at the time he was supposed to be propositioning Mr. Swisher to murder, Mr. Swisher was recovering from heart surgery at the time this was supposed to have taken place and couldn't even get out of his wheelchair. Judge Talman forbade our attorney to disclose these facts to the jury. Then he sentenced David to 43 years in prison. Yes, 43 years. And not satisfied with this, he recommended maximum security with 23 hours a day in isolation lockdown with no human contact. The question here is, what did David do to make so many people in high places in government want him dead? David was not only not guilty, but no crime was ever committed. David is a gentle businessman that has invented a method to put the essential minerals back into the body through his mineral waters. His mistake was to think that he could sue agents in various government agencies for harassment. This is truly a conspiracy that goes way back to the beginning of David's trouble with the IRS, Justice Department, and the Food and Drug Administration. I ask you to look into this appalling matter before justice for all becomes a thing of the past. All David wants is to be given a new trial. We have been trying to get a new trial for all these years, but the government knows that he will not be found guilty if he receives a new trial, as so much more evidence has come to light, and so they fight this. All David wants is to resume his life's work helping others. David's case is on the internet, case number CR-04-0127 and case number CR-02-0142. Enclosed is David's story. Please don't ignore it. Please find time to investigate the corruption in our own FBI, IRS, and Justice Department. David's story is only one story of so many wrongs committed by our government to those who dared to dissent or to exercise their First Amendment right of speech. David has now been in prison for over 14 years. He had 5 children when he went to prison, who now have grown up without any supervision, and so another generation of grief and pain. Sincerely yours, Faye Hinkson, David's mother. My heart grieves as I read this. I mean, what's that, babe? My wife said that she's nearly in tears in the other room, and she's so depressed that we're hearing David's mother plead to Donald Trump for a pardon for her son, who we know is innocent. I mean, we just absolutely know it. And he sat 15 years in prison. A great majority of those years was in ADX Supermax Florence in solitary. Some of the most harshest conditions that you can imagine. Lord, come quickly, and may justice flow down like a mighty river. This is a letter from David's father, David R. Hinkson. We've interviewed him, and we put out an hour-and-a-half interview where we got the story directly from his own father. His own father has written a book called Cesspool of Judicial Corruption, and his own father has created a video documentary by the same name, and we've uploaded those to YouTube as well. I pray that, God listens. I mean, Lord God Almighty, please listen. Please listen to David's mother and father. Here's a letter from his father. A plea for help from David R. Hinkson. Though this is, I'm sorry, I thought it was from his father, but this is actually from David himself. As I sit here in prison, I reflect on the past 14 years. It's been 15 now. My story is a shocking abuse of the judicial process. To date, my family and I have spent over $4 million on lawyers. I think it's up to $6 million now, attempting to defend me. I ask you look at my website, davidhinkson.info. He put davidhinkson.com, but I'm not 100% sure that's right. I thought it was davidhinkson.info. And should you want more information, my father's phone number, I don't know if I should have showed that. My goodness. This probably was private. I'll have to blur that out. I can't put David Hinkson's father public on the internet. He has studied what has happened to me, and he has all the documentation. He can tell you the entire shocking story. How they stalked me, made up crimes against me, threw me in jail, would not let me have a bond hearing, used perjury and forged documents to convict me. He has a 600-page dossier of the government corruption regarding my case. I appeal to you to look at the shocking things done in my case. I have been in solitary confinement. I have been chained at the ankles, waist, and wrist, totally defenseless. My head was cracked open, requiring 5 stitches on April the 25th, 2005. Please investigate these terrible crimes against me. Please read the whole story. My case is the poster child case. I am now 62 years old, and I am the father of 5 children, one of whom is very disabled. I have no criminal record, and I am innocent of these charges. I have never been accused of any crime in the past. The last 12 years before my conviction, I had been doing medical research. I started a company that manufactures healthy dietary supplements. I was working on curing many ailments, including AIDS, tuberculosis, and the common cold. My work is needed. I have worked in clinics overseas doing clinical studies on viral solutions. I also found a new treatment for tuberculosis and sickle cell anemia. See my website at wateroz.com for more information on my company and products. I failed to file my tax returns. However, the maximum punishment is about 1 year. I was out of the country and working overseas from June through November of 2002 when I was supposed to be hiring a hitman to kill a federal judge. I was not in the country, but the judge, Richard C. Talman, would not let me prove it. I had several alibi witnesses, but the judge would not let them testify. He told my lawyer to move along to other areas. He wouldn't let the jury see my passport that proved that I was out of the country. When I was being arrested, I had a tape recorder in my pocket that was turned on. I was not read my rights, but the judge said that it was non-consequential that the FBI agent lied about this. In my case, there was no evidence that a crime had even been committed. No mens rea, no element of a crime presented in court. Just hearsay statements by the con man that forged his own DD-214, which he had previously used to defraud the government out of Veterans Administration medical and disability benefits. No discovery was allowed to let me know what was coming so that I could find out what my accusers were saying against me. The judge violated every civil right I thought I ever had. The informants in my case also told the grand jury in 2001 and 2002 that I had murdered Art Bell's son, late-night talk show radio host. Yet his son is alive and well today. Also, the agents told the grand jury that I was head of 2 militias and was a machine gun dealer. I have never been to a militia meeting. I have never owned a fire or fired a machine gun. They even said that I think I am God and live in a compound with followers who put hits out on people. I have not had a chance to defend myself. Just vicious rumors used to stir up the passions of the grand jury against me so the U.S. attorneys could manipulate an indictment out of them. I appealed my conviction, and I won the appeal 2-1 for a complete reversal of the conviction. However, the government appealed my win and asked for an en banc hearing, 11-judge panel. They heard my appeal on December the 15th, 2008. They ruled 5-6 split against me. My father and attorney had gone on to appeal many different appeals, but the government does not follow their own rules. Like 3 judges are supposed to view the appeal, but they just stamp it denied and send it back. Please look into this matter. Please help me to resume my life, and please do not let a crooked system destroy another innocent man. I have been in prison for over 14 years now, as they hold me for 2 years while they searched for someone to testify against me. Sincerely, David R. Hinkson.
Please pray and fast for this innocent man. This is atrocious. This is a travesty, and this is a very sad story. And I've lost all faith in our government.
I've lost all faith in all aspects of our government. And as I read this letter, an overwhelming sense of sadness came over me, and I'm going to stop the video and try to get my emotional state back together. Thank you.
Let's go for a walk.
Yeah, thank you for your time.